You're not a student for long, don't worry. I don't need to tell you anything anymore. Cleaning them too, but...
That is honestly the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. Why can't I sit here and polish it?
What is that? I can't play. She's good at breakfast.
What are you saying?
I need to put in fingerings.
You know, I should have bought my book. It's got the fingers in it.
Okay, this is great. So I'm going to put the metronome on. I'm going to just quickly get a metronome. It says 144.
Oh, look.
Music, metro timer. 144.
Because you need to take your time for the first of every group before, don't you?
Now, is that going to be very irritating? Probably doesn't have to be that loud, right?
No.
That's good, right?
That's fine.
Okay, let me just test that I can actually play it up to speed. Four, two. Maybe some of these words could be thrown in actually at the end. That's got to go in. That's what the metronome's making me do. It's making me tense up.
Playing the metronome.
Yeah, I'm going to play it. Okay, we'll start.
Oh, we've already started.
Okay, we've already started. Alright, how the metronome ruins music.
What was that thing? It's doing my head in.
No, it's tough. That's also does your head in. You get tense. It's like, okay, ready? Try again. Schumann, Scherzo from Symphony Number 2 in C, Opus 61. Okay, so that's great. I can do it. Sounds bad. I'll try again. I'll try and make it sound beautiful and awesome and follow the beams. And we'll probably, follow the beaming. We'll explain beaming in a sec. Okay, one,
Go.
two. Okay, I still feel pretty tense and pretty bad. Alright, one more go. I'll try and do all the dynamics, all the beaming with the metronome on, but try and make it sound like music. 1, 2, 1. Oh, and I'm rushing. Why am I rushing? Because I'm tense. Because you rush when you're tense. I'm just going to give it one go without the metronome.
Actually, better.
Well, if there's no cut between the last thing and this thing. Okay, we did have to cut because I had just practiced with the metronome over and over and over, and it made me really tense and anxious, and it made me not follow the beat.
I also subconsciously feel like it's not true because the metronome is just that same pulse, right? I subconsciously go, it's getting faster, therefore I have to get faster.
Yeah.
But it's becoming because it's in my head. I'm getting tenser.
You get tenser.
Is that even a word?
Which shortens the bow strokes, which means you rush.
But the myth is that a teacher would tell you, turn it down by 10
and build it up.
And build it up. And I still somewhat...
Well, you still hit that critical point where you haven't addressed what the problem is in the first place.
Yeah. But the excerpts I'm working on now, especially that Rossini, I haven't used yet, the metronome ones. Because it was just...
That's a good one to test actually, except I sound terrible for that one, so I don't want to play it.
I could just cut to classical spectacular.
Yeah.
And you're in it.
But that's actually a little easier to play in some ways and harder in other ways, but it has the same qualities of this excerpt. You've got big flips across strings.
The problem with when it comes to this, it's music. You've got to make it musical, and if you're cutting off notes because you've got a string cross or shift, it doesn't matter if it's it won't be in time. It'll fall apart. So even if somebody's playing perfectly in time, they're probably not. By the slightest little hair length, they're taking time to finish up a note to shift to get to the next one.
And they're making it sound more natural, and it sounds more in control. If it sounds more in control, it sounds more rhythmical.
When was the metronome invented?
It was in the 19th century. Beethoven sort of had the latest one.
Okay, so because I was thinking about like early chamber music, there was none of this stuff to try and get people to play together. It would have been all natural and organic, and it would have come from people just playing together.
Yeah, and also if you match up, if you've got a string quartet and each person is 100% aware of who has the melody, the accompaniment will listen to the melody and how the melody is phrased, and the accompaniment then supports the rhythm of the melody rather than being a metronomic pulse, which then the melody has to bend towards.
I played Vivaldi Autumn, and there's always those moments where it's just cello as basso, and me as soloist, and my friend who was playing cello. We practiced just the two of us, but he knew exactly where I was taking time to elongate notes, to phrase it out nicely, and he was watching. So he wasn't just going, no, well, this is 1, 2, 3. He was watching me the whole time. And that's ensemble playing.
I mean, you do have to play with pulse, but pulse is different from playing metronomically every single semiquaver lining up. So,
does pulse mean, like, would you say with playing pulse, it's really like almost going for the bigger beats?
Yeah, going for the bigger beats instead of the individual micro beats.
I think of Brahms 4 on that. That's really...
Yeah, it's the overall, the sweeping gestures. So it's like you're talking or you're sighing. You're not talking, you're not sighing.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. So if we just give me one more chance with this Schumann excerpt. And
you don't get one more chance in an audition.
Well, I didn't need one more chance, did I?
Yeah, they gave 3 and did the job.
Because we're all spectacular. Yeah, I know, I'm getting older now. So the beaming is clear. When I play this through, I'll probably stick up the music as well so you can see. You see that Schumann has put one semiquaver with a separate little semiquaver tag, and then the next 3 together. So I'm going to overdo that now, just to, as you follow the music along, you'll see. I actually did it a bit where it wasn't there, but but look, you just check out the first line, and it's really interesting. You're supposed to finish a phrase, da-da-da-da-dum, and then begin another phrase, da-da-da-da. And that's how the beginning starts. It starts after the pulse beat.
And that's when you start reading music and going, you see where the phrase is.
Yeah, and you see patterns.
And you see patterns, but you see what's important.
You see groups and you see what's important. And how do I know that I'm supposed to finish a phrase and start again? Because it's right there written in the beam. And if you put the metronome on, you can't do it because you're forced into...
Mozart violin concertos are really notorious for particular players to play them a certain way.
Yeah.
And I remember asking you once, how did you get such strong opinions on Mozart? You was just like, it's on the page. And it wasn't until I learned, 3, 4, 5 back to back that I was like, oh, I get it.
Yeah, it's a language.
You sort of pick up, oh, this is the important part, or this, these notes are more important than those notes.
Yeah.
Or, a lot of the time, composers wouldn't they write, dynamics are really important to the phrasing.
Well, not until the 19th century. Dynamics weren't really that popular. Yeah, because you had freedom, you would improvise all the way up to Mozart's time and beyond. You'd improvise. You wouldn't just do what was on the page. That's a modern concept. Yeah. Yeah. So hang on.
Wait, I got one.
Oh, and I also wanted to say this is very important. Also wanted to say that because music is abstract, people think that it's mathematical. Now, the modern way of thinking, they think it's mathematical. And the metronome divides time perfectly mathematically, like a machine.
They think what? I wasn't listening.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Wait, what did you say? I wasn't.
Because music is abstract. It's not words or a picture. It's, little symbols that have been made up to represent pitch. So with our modern way of thinking about rhythm, metronome, machines everywhere, and dividing time perfectly, we forget that it's actually a language. It's words, especially the Germanic composers. Especially the Germanic composers. So it's all about text and talking and swaying and getting angry, and all of that stuff is not mathematical because we're not robots. We don't speak like robots, so we should not play music like robots either. I'm sorry, it's a really dumb way of making a point, but
there is some music out there that is that.
That needs that. Yeah, what is it? Yeah, that's 20th century music.
So there is music that is composed of this.
Yeah, and this is written around the time where war machines were absolutely.
Yeah, but it just shows the development of music, how sometimes it was
reflects society's changes.
Vertically, horizontally, and then what can you do with it? And there's some crazy stuff now.
Oh, not to mention all the minimalists. I mean, minimalism requires the pulse to be quite metronomic, so that the slow changes are really perceivable.
My favourite Philip Glass quartet, the last movement, the cello just going.
Yeah, it's really difficult to play that music because you have to be static in your body and mind. That's what makes it really difficult.
Yeah, and then the violin 1 and 2 have these but you can't. You have to play it metronome.
And you have to play it metronome
because you've got the metronome there in the cello.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to put the metronome on for this. You'll all know what it is. Let's see. Faster.
170.
170?
Good luck. Didn't win your job one, did you?
I didn't. Anyway, the point is, put the metronome on. Actually, I think this one does need a metronome. After the first, when you get up to the.
Actually, it is a metronome.
The winds are going digga da digga da digga da digga da da. So it looks like it should be more free, but actually this is probably worth putting the metronome on after you've learnt it perfectly. Don't learn it through using the metronome because you're just going to be tight and stiff and panicky.
Dun, 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 dun.
Huh? Anyway, oh, lovely. Yeah, perfect. All right, so Beethoven was obsessed with the metronome for a little while, and then he tried to play along with it. Apparently there's some letters that say at first he thought it was sent from heaven, because he probably was annoyed with people who couldn't play it in time. And Beethoven's music, as we all know, is very rhythmic, and you can see he just wants repetition all the time, and it looks quite rhythmic. And that's in his past music, like the opening of Beethoven 5. Just goes on and on and on like that, and it's quite, metronomic or in time. But then you've got the slow movement from Symphony No. 9, and the first violins have this incredibly beautiful thing that if you play that in time, there's no music in it whatsoever. So I'm going to get the metronome on for that. 60. Are these Beethoven's markings? Yeah. All right. So this is.
That's quavers, yeah.
No, that's dotted crotchets. 12/8.
Dotted.
this one, with the metronome, because that just sucked.
I think maybe I've learned with excerpt, maybe twice I did it with it. But just to get it to tempo, but then I'm like, well, I already know the phrasing of it.
How do you know the phrasing of it?
It's in the music.
How? What? Tell me what's in the music. No, I know this isn't a lesson, but how do you know what the phrasing is? Well, wind players call it phrase markings. What do we call them?
Bowings.
Bowings. So bowings tell you the phrasing. What
so
else tells you?
bowings are important for phrasing.
Yeah, I know you know that. Would you mind being polite for our viewers out there who don't know things yet?
Yeah, okay, but then it goes to the point of two things. Composers that knew that bowings were important to string players for phrasing, and then the composers that didn't.
Yeah.
And I could show you my Mahler excerpt that you just had to absolutely cut up, because there's no way you can do all of that with phrasing in one bow.
Yeah, but
so,
Mahler's on the brink of something really fully modern. The idea of legato, sostenuto, total intensity, no phrasing anymore. He's turning his back on all of that.
Yeah.
Only in those moments. Of course, he has a lot of...
Was Beethoven the start of this?
The start of what exactly?
The phrase markings for bowings.
Oh, they got really micromanaging about it. They could all play string instruments, these guys. So all these famous guys from the Germany, Austria area.
Alright, but having said that, blah, blah, blah.
What else tells you the phrasing? You've said bowing?
Dynamics?
Yeah, dynamics, yeah. What else tells you the phrasing?
Accidentals?
Accidental's great.
Is that the answer?
No, that was something that I didn't immediately think of. How high and low the notes are.
That's what I said before.
Oh,
I didn't.
No, you might have thought it. Use your
The actual
outside
notes.
voice.
The outside of your
The actual notes.
The actual notes.
Yeah, and how important they
I know
are.
things.
Yeah, I know you know.
Wait. I had a point.
Okay.
We just said that they knew what it was about the phrase markings with bowings. But then this bit, is that broken up, or is that meant to be down as an up?
Look, I demonstrated it with the original bowing, which was, and I ran out of bow, but I started in the wrong part of the bow, and then the table got in the way. So give me a chance this time.
Wait, that would be a down.
Will we break it?
Wait, let me finish talking. That would be a down, that would be an up.
Yeah.
Or you would break it after the D there.
No, I would hope that. You're going to keep that in, aren't you? Maybe face it to me. I'm getting old. I literally can't play with this table yet.
Maybe next time we do a playing one, we should not have a table.
Yeah. Well, I guess you can just cut up bits as well.
But you know I won't.
Yeah.
I'll put this in right now.
Well, I'm going to take this camera and... Okay. We...
What? Don't swear.
Stop pulling your music, because you're the one that said don't do it because the microphone says stop it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this is... Alright, so this is the third movement opening with the original phrase markings, but the point is with no metronome. Okay? Right.
I'm going to say. Filming. I've lost my mind. It's your fault.
Yeah, true.
Okay.
True. Now, I guess what I'm going to do is you're going to just... see, the point, you've got to make a point properly rather than just buck around and not make a point.
Don't swear.
Buck. Okay, so particularly without the metronome, you can make the difference between 6-note slur, 2, 2, 2, and then one separate, and then all the rest, like in bar 102. So, for example, so again, so that's completely free, but if you've got the metronome on, all you want to do is snap it. So,
I'm going to be totally honest.
Yeah.
I want to know who didn't hear a difference.
It's going to be a disaster, this video. It's going to be like scratching around. I can't actually play anything either way.
Just chop up every single good note and try and get an exit.
Pay $700 to my sound guy to put auto-tune on and everything.
So what's the point? The metronome
The fact that you don't get the point is...
No, but you're the teacher, so I'm the one asking the question.
You're going to have to cut all this because the point is... Okay, I'm going to do it again. Okay, here's this bit with the metronome.
Yes, that sounded choppy.
I'm kind of trying to make phrasing, but it's a bit difficult with the metronome on. So just without.
Well, here's the answer, right? When you're playing violin individually or in an ensemble, and this is all about orchestras, right? The orchestra is a group of human beings.
Yeah.
And the metronome is a machine.
Yeah.
So you do have metronomic aspects in orchestras. That's, You have the conductor there.
Yeah.
But at some point, they pull it around.
Yeah.
Then you do have points, say in Dom 1 as well, where you've got the winds going You have to stay in time with them.
Yeah.
But then, depending on the music, you're a group of humans and you move together. It's organic.
Yeah, and you'll find that with human beings, because they're so similar in physicality, they need the same amount of time to get from that one separate note back down to that next note. So if you say to a group of people, take the time you need to get between the high note and the low note, they will all be doing it at the same time. So you'll get a whole group of people making, but they're not listening to each other. They're not. They're just taking the amount of time they need to get from one note to the next. And as long as they start together and take the time they need to do the beautiful bowing and do the swells and do the diminuendos and all of that, they will be taking the same time.
So if you're a student and you've already got tension issues, and you've got someone there telling you to turn the metronome up to 65, up to 70, and then up to whatever it is, it might help you a little bit of it. Maybe 75% you could get better, but if you've not addressed the tension issues, and this is what my biggest breakthrough with my playing was that I stopped focusing on the music and I started looking at the bigger problem with my playing, which at one point was upper arm, tension, or neck, or whatever. So rather than don't worry about the music, because that's going to cause your brain to go, because you haven't addressed your actual playing issue.
The physicality of playing.
But even you as a professional, still got tense in that.
Well, I haven't practiced this since the last time we did. In fact, I didn't practice it last time either. I just used the rehearsal to practice. Hey, we all do that. We all do that.
Is that what you want me to put out there?
Yeah.
So this is almost August. Beethoven 9 was in...
Oh yeah, when did we do
February?
it? Oh, it was this year.
Yeah.
The circus.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
It's a great concert. We love it.
And you know what? Everyone plays this at work, like how I'm describing.
Even
they phrase it beautifully.
Metronomic.
Well, we know the music so well, we know the notes so well that we can relax into, oh, this is easy. So we're not looking at this for the first time and going, how are we going to play that? I mean, obviously the conductor has to do it a few times and the conductor has to get the right speed so it all sits really well, so it's not too slow, not too fast. So it just sits in that beautiful groove, because it's a very long movement. You don't want people to fall asleep, but you don't want people to feel really anxious about it. So we do need the time and space to play it, as I've described.
It's twofold. This whole metronome issue is twofold.
Yeah.
There's the student that's still got problems. That's why they're... I don't want to say that's why they're a student, because I'm still your student.
That's because you love it.
I can't rephrase that.
Anyway,
so
twofold.
You've got twofold. You've got the person that's the student.
Yeah.
And they're learning that, yes, scales or that piece or that section from that excerpt or whatever it is, metronome. But if they're not addressing their technique, it doesn't matter how slow or fast you play that section. And then you've got the professionals that already know this.
They can do it already, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And a metronome for a professional professionals still need a metronome to identify if they have any tendencies.
Yeah, if you're learning music really quickly for something, like you just recorded all the DOMs. Yeah. So that would have had to be...
I did all that with click track though.
What's the difference between a click track and a metronome?
Nothing.
It's easier with a metronome.
I did it with metronome, but I had to switch the metronome off for about 4 of them because it was just impossible to play it.
You get that?
Yeah.
That's going to go in the background.
Okay, so Oscar!
We can't film it in here anymore.
Good luck. Where am I going to send him?
Pause.
Oscar! Turn your freaking alarm off! Anyway, I think we've covered this episode's done.
Yeah, we're just going to do a summary.
And we'll do a summary, yeah, that's okay. Your twofold thing was a really great summary. And then you branched out again. So,
sorry.
Okay,
blah,
so
blah, blah,
did you...
blah, blah, summary.
Well, in my opinion, you can't totally disregard the metronome because you'll be in recording studios in your future. You have to practice with click tracks. You have to play exactly with a click. Like, you still have to be really, really relaxed.
But that comes from fundamental training. You've done...
No, it doesn't. It comes from a decision, a set of priorities.
No, but as a professional, you know how to have a really strong inner pulse, you know, play with people, not get tense around click tracks.
Well, look, I didn't mean for this episode to get so in-depth, but it is in-depth. Just listen to me. So if I go into a studio and I need to play some simple music or even complicated music with a click track, which essentially is a metronome, my priority is not to play with the other people in the room. All of us, our priority, number one, is to play with the click track. Okay? So, that's not chamber music. That's playing with a click track. You're the only one that thinks that kind of shit is funny. Okay.
You're the only one that would have noticed that.
No way. I mean, yeah, actually, maybe, yeah. And then...
I'm sorry, I'm listening. I respect it.
I can tell you're losing it, actually. No, I get it. I was losing it that one day,
My lesson.
Okay.
I came to my lesson and there's moments where sometimes I'm in that really just bizarre and you're just sort of like, all right, on time. And then there's days where it's true, it's the other way around and you're just completely lost your mind mood. And I'm just like, please. It's never at the same time.
Yeah,
it's really weird. Yeah. It's never at the same time unless there's alcohol involved. But
okay, so shall we try and summarise again? Students need it after they can do something well, after they've learnt their notes. And I'm talking students like, you know, uni students. I'm not talking beginners. I have no expertise in beginners. I'm at a loss. Can't do it. I can repair damage that's been done, or I can give advice to people who can already play and just like polish them a little bit more.
I can already play.
But the metronome, well, until you play on camera, no one will know.
Right. Coming soon.
So metronome is good to highlight your tendencies, maybe, but don't build music up.
As long as it's recognised that metronome can subconsciously make you tense. Yeah. And you think it's because it's too fast, so you make it slower, but you're not addressing that you are tensing up.
Yeah.
It's in your brain and it's making you uncomfortable. Yeah. So try turning it off. Be fully relaxed. Think of the bigger picture of your body, your neck, your arms, your upper arm, or whatever it is, your back. Yeah. You know, are you sitting down and practicing or standing up and walk around? Yeah. Take a bath. Yeah, take a hot bath. You'll find everything comes out really beautifully after a hot bath. Yeah. Yeah. All so metronome, yes, but no. Done.